Let's talk about the eclipses, and let's talk about what's been going on for the past 2 years. So this weekend, Saturday, October 28th, we have our final lunar eclipse in Taurus. And this is the final eclipse on the Taurus Scorpio axis for this current cycle. What does that mean? That means that we have a full moon that is really close to the lunar nodes. So currently, our north node is in Aries and our south node is in Libra. But for the past 2 years, since November 2021, the nodes have been in Taurus and Scorpio. And although the nodes shifted into Aries and Libra back in July, there's always this little overlap territory zone where we're easing into a new nodal experience and we still have residual eclipses on the prior axis, that being Taurus and Scorpio. And so Taurus and Scorpio are both fixed signs, fixed earth and fixed water. If you have strong Taurus or Scorpio placements or Leo and Aquarius placements, also fixed signs, then you probably have been going through some type of pretty significant transformation over the past 2 years of life. And this final eclipse, although it's not like a full eclipse, because again, the north node is in Aries and the full moon is in Taurus, and it's about 8 degrees away from the north node. So it doesn't have quite the same punch as the prior eclipses from the past 2 years on the Taurus Scorpio axis, but it is our final eclipse on this axis. And so it's bringing some sense of closure to the lessons that you've been learning over these past 2 years. If you know your chart, it would be really worthwhile for you to look up where Taurus and Scorpio live in your chart. And by that, I mean which houses contain the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. It would also be great for you to consider which planets and angles you have in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio, if any. So by planets, I'm also including the luminaries, the sun and moon, but then all of the big hitters, mostly personal planets I'm talking here. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter we could throw in there too. And maybe let's say Saturn. So if you have any of those planets in the signs of Taurus or Scorpio, or if you have angles, and by angles I mean your rising sign, which is called the ascendant, or the descendant, the opposite of the rising sign, or your midheaven or your IC. So those are the angles of your chart, and those are really significant to you. So if you're a Taurus rising, a Scorpio rising, a Taurus midheaven, Scorpio midheaven, or IC or descendant, then it's likely you've really been in it. Things have really probably shifted significantly in your life for the past 2 years. Even if it was on more of like a subterranean, subconscious level, you have likely noticed massive growth within yourself. Or it could be that if you've been resistant to kind of learning the lessons and surrendering what needed to be surrendered these past 2 years, that things have really been kind of excruciating recently as we enter this new transformation where we're meant to kind of like resolve stuff from the past 2 years. So to give you an example, I'm a Taurus rising, I'm a Taurus sun, I'm a Leo moon, I have Pluto and Scorpio opposite my sun and Mercury, both in Taurus, and square my moon in Leo. I'm an Aquarius midheaven, Leo south node, and Leo IC, and Aquarius north node. So I have a lot of fixed stuff going on in my chart. And over the past 2 years, I have moved between 3 different states. I ended a almost 3-year relationship. I moved out of our shared home. I adopted a puppy. I quit my job. I more fully launched my own astrology and tarot and Akashic Records business. I went through at least 3 crises. I had to leave an apartment because of safety issues and basically leave a state in an emergency. It's been very chaotic. And that I think is a pretty good example of how intense these experiences can be when you're someone who has a lot of energy in a particular modality. And so by that, I mean fixed. So again, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, fixed signs. But what we're moving into now as we close out this cycle is cardinal eclipses. And so our cardinal eclipses are going to be occurring and have been occurring on the Aries Libra axis. And again, the nodes shifted in July. So back in July, you may have begun to notice maybe gradual sort of little peekaboos about the upcoming lessons of this nodal experience with Aries and Libra. And these lessons will be accentuated in the Aries Libra houses in your chart. And in particular for you, if you have cardinal placements. So not just Aries and Libra, but also Cancer and Capricorn, the other two cardinal signs. And so with Aries and Libra, we had our Libra eclipse, our Libra new moon eclipse 2 weeks ago. And that was on October 14th. And we are currently in the eclipse window. And what the eclipse window is the space between eclipses. And so they usually come in pairs. And so we had, again, our new moon solar eclipse in Libra. It was a south node eclipse. And we are approaching our full moon north node eclipse in Taurus, the final one on that axis. So we're in this middle ground where one leg's over here and one leg's over there. And what we're really seeing is stuff around attachment coming up. Taurus and Scorpio, fixed signs, can really cling. They can be signs that want to hold on to what they care about and that can have a hard time letting go. But surrender and like self-embodiment, Taurus, and the release of unhealthy attachments has been a real theme that's come up with the South Node in Scorpio and the North Node in Taurus. And now that we're moving into Aries and Libra territory, like for real, the focus is still on me and you, me and us, you and us, and how all of these pieces in relationships, how all of these players interact with one another to co-create a reality that is harmonious, hopefully, that is safe, that is loving, and how we need to shed and turn away from situations that do not honor ourselves, that do not honor our own spirit. And so with the South Node in Libra, a very relational sign, I'm expecting and already seeing that there are going to be a lot of breakups because a lot of people were shown material that they needed to see about attachment, about unhealthy coping mechanisms and patterns and maladaptive stuff in relationships over the past 2 years. And now it's like, okay, we can't quite hide from this anymore. Now we have to face it and either make changes and initiate changes or decide that it's time for us to go our own way. And so because the North Node is typically, and I'm going to hyper simplify this, but the North Node is really about what our soul is evolving into, what it's learning about, what it's pointing toward. And the South Node is often about what we are releasing, letting go of, integrating, and learning. Lessons that we've already learned that we need to kind of put to bed or learn how to integrate into our reality in a way that is better for us. And so Aries is kind of where we're pointing. And Aries is a very self-focused sign. It's cardinal fire. It's the first sign in the zodiac. It's the baby that comes screeching out of the womb that says, I'm here. And as we all move collectively toward Aries energy, we are meant to evolve more deeply into ourselves. We are meant to know ourselves more deeply. We are meant to express ourselves more boldly and more authentically. And as the South Node moves through Libra, we are meant to release outdated patterns around relating. We are meant to let go of relationships and maybe relationship patterns and not necessarily the relationship itself, but patterns that keep us stuck in a place of martyrdom, in a place of overgiving, in a place of boundarylessness, in a place of self-sacrifice in favor of dynamics that are not supportive to either person. So as we close out this Taurus Scorpio era and move fully into Aries Libra land, which will be with us through the end of next year, 2024, I really want you to spend time thinking about the types of relational environments and dynamics that help you to feel safe, that allow you to express yourself fully, And I want you to feed those, to cultivate those relationships and to seek more of them, to use those as a template, a blueprint for more of what you want to cultivate, for what you're looking for. And I want you to begin to let go of the relationships and the dynamics and the styles of relating that have kept you trapped in an old way of being where you people please your way through connection and into unsafe and inauthentic relationships.